Welcome back, everybody. It is week 9, day 1. So this is the first week of our peak phase. We got 3 1/4. I didn't bring my pen. How dumb is that? Okay. So we got 325 on the bar. We're gonna do 5 sets of 3 on this one. And then we're gonna do some front squats, some pause deadlifts, and rows. The point of the peak phase is we are tapering down on the volume, and we're starting to up the load. So every week, on assistance exercises, instead of adding a set every week, we're actually we're losing a set and we're adding weight. And then, of course, we're gonna continue doing heavier main lifts with triples for the next 3 weeks. Then we'll go into doubles, and then it'll be singles. So we're at the halfway point through Bullmastiff. I decided to take a full rest week last week instead of a deload. So I'm feeling pretty well recovered. I feel all right. The weight moved all right. Just the only caveat is, I didn't squat last week, so my movement pattern is a little ungrooved, but I think that'll be, fixed by the end of today. We're easing back into it, and, next week and week 11 should be much heavier. Whew. I do have to be careful because I don't know, it's probably not heavy enough for you to actually see it on the camera, but it is raining right now. So things are just a little slick. I wouldn't recommend this to somebody else, but it's me, so I'm going to accept the risk. What did we do last week? Well, last time. So last time we were at 325. Okay, we did 335 for 7 back in May. Did 345 for 5. No, that doesn't make sense. I wonder if I missed a squat somewhere. Oh no, that's a 6. Okay, so we didn't do anything extra. Okay, so 325, we'll shoot for 6 to 8 reps today. I gotta tell you, I'm glad that I took a rest week last week. I had 3 projects that were funded by Microsoft, which means, there's a hard deadline on them or we just lose the money. And 3 of them closed last week. So, it was just one of those working late, working through lunch kind of weeks to get everything in. So it lined up all right with, my planned rest period anyway, which is good. And now I'm through it. All right, 2 more sets. That's 4. This last set is as many reps. Whew, AMRAP. And if this is your first time joining us, the point of this one is I owe 3 reps to the program, and every rep I get above 3 adds 1% to my working weight next week. So we got 3 1/4 on. For the sake of rounding, we'll just say 3.5 pounds per rep. So, if I get 4, I'll be just squatting 330 next week. If I get 8, we're looking at between 15 and 20 pounds. So 340, 355, somewhere in there. I'm gonna cut my rest a little short. The rain is picking up a little bit, so I want to get this done before the ground gets too wet. Front squats are going to be light enough that I'm not really worried about slipping. And then by the time I go to pause deadlifts and rows, I'm going to be barefoot, so I'm going to have a little bit more traction and just feeling in control. Plus the weight is closer to the ground, so there's less room to fall. All right. Minimum of 3, shooting for 8 to 10. That's 5. 6. 7. 8. Come on, bitch. 9, 10. 10. Whew. Feeling it in my abs. So we're doing 4 sets of 6 on the front squat. Only doing 155. Oh, as this is supposed to be an RPE of 6, so a good warm-up weight. Actually might be harder than I'm giving it credit for, because I'm doing these after squats instead of after deadlifts, which is what I've gotten accustomed to over the past 9 weeks. Wait, that makes this week 10, doesn't it? Yeah. All right. 5, 6. All right, that's 1. 3 more sets. Five, 6. Ooh, in case you're wondering if my stance on front squats has changed, it is not. Still hate them. Oh. All right. Set 3. Five, 6. 6. All right, 1 set left. All right, last set. I don't want to do these. No, I don't want to do these. I don't want a front squat anymore. Okay. Three. 5. All right, 1 more. Whew. Whew. I'm tired. Let's get this down on the ground, and then we're gonna load another pair of 45s on here to make it 315. All right, so these are gonna be pause reps. Whew, they're a little lighter. I'm gonna stop right around knee level for about a second. And the point of these is to get a little more time under tension through that weakest part of the lift. So wherever your specific sticking point is, you're just gonna wanna hang out there for a second. I find that these pause deadlifts are like the most useful assistance exercises I've come across for getting my deadlift up. Now, these are also 4x6, so we're gonna open at 315. We'll see how that feels. Should be right at that challenging zone. Like I said, it's 6 reps, so it's a little bit higher rep range than what I normally like for deadlifts, but the weight's, you know, lighter. I've done doubles at 500, so I think 6s at 315 should be a reasonable request. But we'll see how this first set feels, and we can adjust from there. This first one's where you're adding a movement into the program. It's a bit like artillery. You got to bracket it, so you fire a shot, see where it hits, and then add or subtract distance based on there, and then you hit long, you hit short, you hit long, you hit short, and then you get a little bit closer every time until they're still on target. Kind of like how Battleship works, actually. Except in Battleship, the only feedback you get is hit or miss. You don't actually see the splash effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really feeling that in my hamstrings and my lats, which is right about what I'd expect, actually. So we're hitting the right spots. And then after these are done, we got barbell rows, and there's a bit of flexibility built into these in the program. It says 3 to 5 sets, 8 to 12 reps. So I don't want, you know, given that I'm coming off a week of no activity, and the program's shifting a little bit, I'm gonna opt for heavier reps at 225 for 3 sets of 8. And then maybe next week we'll up the volume a little bit, just depending on how Thursday feels on deadlifts. What I'm trying to avoid is I don't want to be sore on deadlift day, especially from a dumb assistance exercise. So lower volume is going to be helpful for preventing muscle soreness, and then moving a little bit quicker through the eccentric phase. So a lot of soreness is caused by the eccentric phase of the movement, which is good for causing, it's good for growth, but you're also going to be more sore. So right now we're just looking at building peak contractile force for this peak phase. So we're going to try to explode up, and then we're just going to, let it come down in a controlled manner, but we're not worried about riding it down or doing slow reps. One, two, three, 4, 5. One more. 6. So one of these things I'm trying to be deliberate about on these reps is using my lats to keep the barbell in contact with my legs through the whole rep. Because as you get tired and as the weight gets heavy, your lats want to get, pulled out. And as they extend, it's going to cause that barbell to drift out from that midfoot point. So you want to focus on keeping those tight throughout the movement, and then focusing on a straight up and down bar path. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. So you get that big back. Feeling it right here, which is good. It's a good thing. One set left, and then we're doing rows. Just given what these pause deadlifts are putting my lats through, there's probably going to be some English on these. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5. tricky. It's right on time, that's right on time, it's tricky. Whew. It's the cardiovascular part that's getting me. Which makes sense. These are all big compound movements. A lot of cross joint, multi-joint exercises, so the systemic response is higher than, if I were to do 12 sets of curls and tricep extensions or something like that. So, big metabolic load. And I'm tuckered out as a response. As a result, not as a response. No brain word good. One more set and we're out of here. So, these are going to start taking probably 10-15 minutes longer than what my previous workouts were doing. Just because like I said, we're moving more weight, using more joints and more muscles. So, we're going to have to take longer rest periods between sets, which is going to probably drag out these sessions to about 45-50 minute range. We're right at 50 minutes now, 51 minutes now, and it's probably going to take me about another 45 seconds to get through this set. So 51-52 minutes today. Oh, I got sweat in my eye. All right, 8 reps. 8 and we're out of here. Whew, all right. That's it for today. Catch me tomorrow for bench press. See ya.